Today, I'm going to tell you all about how my account got banned from Amazon and what I did about it and what you can do about it to make sure it doesn't happen to you and what to do if it does ever happen to you. And by the way, Daisy says hi. So, welcome to the party. And I'm going to tell you about the most terrifying few hours of my career when we come back. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. I'm John Hartness, founder and publisher of Falstaff Books and the author of 42 or so novel-length works, including The Black Knight Chronicles, Bubba the Monster Hunter, the Quincy Harker Demon Hunter series, and many other different titles. So this morning, October 30th, 2025, at 11:12 a.m., I got an email from Kindle Content Review. Daisy, please don't knock the camera over. For the record, if you are an author or a publisher, you know that no good emails ever come from Kindle Content Review. And this one was titled, Your Amazon KDP Account, and yes, that is my cat's tail flicking in front of the camera. Hello. We have terminated your KDP account because we found that you do not have the necessary rights to publish the book, parentheses, S, listed below. If you have documentation proving you have the necessary rights to publish this book, please reply to this message and attach it to your email. Title, The Unlikeliest Places, a Quincy Harker Demon Hunter short story. We are committed to providing a bookstore built on trust between authors, publishers, and readers, and we take prompt action when needed to ensure a positive experience. As part of the termination process, you can no longer access your KDP account, bookshelf, or reports. We have removed your published books from the Amazon store. You are not eligible to receive any outstanding royalties. You are not allowed to open a new KDP account. For more information, view our terms and conditions, and adds a long, silly URL about the terms and conditions. If you have any questions or believe your account was terminated in error, please reply to this email. To help us respond quickly, please send a single email. Regards, Amazon KDP. So the first thing I did was check the sender. And it turns out that it was, in fact, from Amazon. The next thing I did was log into my Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing account. And it said, sure enough, your account has been terminated. And I was like, wow, that escalated quickly. So here's how we got here. My short story, The Unlikeliest Places, was published in 2023 in this anthology called Instinct. It was to benefit animal rescue, and it featured a whole lot of authors who were much bigger deals than me, as well as me. And it was edited by L.J. Hackmeister. I got my rights reverted to this story in March of this year, 2 years after the date of publication. It's a little long for reversion, and let me tell you what I'm talking about when I say reversion. Most of the time when an author sells a short story to an anthology, the publisher of the anthology has a limited time exclusive publication right to that story. It's anywhere from 6 months to 2 years. 2 years is the longest I've seen. I had one charity anthology that immediately upon publication, the rights reverted to me. That one was really nice since it was for charity and I wasn't getting any money. This one was 2 years. And usually what I do at the beginning of each year is I look back through my contracts for anthologies that have been published previously. And okay, what's reverting this year? and I add them into my spreadsheet where I track the short stories, the anthology they were in, the release date, and the reversion date. And then as I go through the year, I put a new cover on these short stories, I reformat them as solo shorts, and I sell them on Shopify and on Amazon, usually for between $1 and $3. With this, it was a 2-year exclusivity agreement. That meant that from 2 years after this book was published, I couldn't do anything with the story. But after that, the publisher could keep the story in the anthology and keep selling the anthology, but I could then do anything else I wanted with it. The only thing I can't do with the story now is make a claim for first publication rights if I sell it to another antho. Not a big deal. I don't usually sell my reprints to other publications. I self-publish. I publish them through Falstaff and put them out on our Shopify and give them away on Patreon, stuff like that. Now, this particular contract says the following agreement is entered between John G. Hartness, hereafter known as the author, and Source 7 Productions, LLC, hereafter known as the publisher. Standard. The author grants the publisher one-time exclusive English language and anthology rights to publish The Unlikeliest Places, hereinafter known as the story, in Instinct, or such other title as publisher shall determine, hereinafter known as The Anthology, in digital and paperback formats. The period of exclusive rights terminates 2 years from the date of publication/release. Afterward, the author is free to place the story elsewhere. The publisher will retain the non-exclusive right to continue publishing the story only as part of the anthology. Like I said, the publisher can keep it in the anthology, but they can't do anything else with it, and I can do anything else I want with it. I just can't claim that it's the first publication because it obviously isn't. And then we go down through the rest of it, and it says the release date for the anthology is 07 March 2023, or such other date as the publisher shall determine. The publisher shall do its reasonable best to notify the author of all release dates. Now, here's where things get a little funky. It got to be, I don't know, middle of the year. I waited until after Con Carolinas, so it was probably July when I put this up for sale. And I put a cover on it. Not a very good cover, I'll admit. Sorry, that's my Photoshop shortcomings. But it was a short story I was selling for $1. Wasn't really willing to pay someone for a cover for a story that's going to make me pennies per sale. So I put it up for sale on our Shopify, on Draft to Digital, and then I uploaded it to Amazon. I immediately got a ping back from Amazon saying, you can't upload this, you don't have the rights. Okay, I've seen this before with anthology work. When you are publishing a previously published work, you often have to provide proof that the rights have reverted. No big deal. Except this time. Unfortunately, Source 7 Productions was one person, LJ. Much more unfortunately, LJ passed away in 2023. There was no Source 7 Productions. Also, most of the time when I get a contract for a short story for an anthology, I don't know the title of the short story yet. So it says Untitled Short Story by John G. Hartness. That means that when I sent Amazon the copy of the contract, it didn't have the title. So Amazon sent it back to me and said, hey, this doesn't have the title. We can't accept it. This title is blocked from distribution. And I thought to myself, okay, well, we're just never selling this book on Amazon because I can't get a revised contract and I don't know who's monitoring the email address that I have for LJ. And needless to say, I am not at all upset with LJ's wife and anyone who's handling her estate. This is an extreme corner case in publishing, and it did not upset me that I might not be able to sell this short story on Amazon. Not a big deal. I knew I could sell it on my Shopify and give it away as newsletter bait. I could do a lot of things with it, whether I sold it as a solo on Amazon or not. But I had sent an email and it didn't get a response, and that surprised me not at all. So I just gave up. I thought, okay, well, if I'm not going to send the Amazon the proof to upload this story, they'll leave it blocked. No harm, no foul. I don't really care. Move on. That was, like I said, July or August. Well, apparently, that was a bigger problem for Amazon than I expected it to be. Because this morning they terminated my Amazon account because I had attempted to upload a short story that they could not verify that I had the rights to publish. Should I have been more diligent in scrapping to find a revised contract? Yes. Now, LJ's wife did get back to me a few weeks later, very apologetic. I don't monitor this email address very often. I was like, I didn't expect you to. I didn't expect to get any response. And then she said, here's a revised contract with the title of the story. I went through, I tweaked it. Here you go. I was like, okay, well, I had forgotten about uploading it to Amazon. I didn't care. So I just kept this revised contract on file for if I needed it in the future. Lucky I did. So then this morning, when I get the email saying, we've terminated your account, and I went and verified, and yes, all my books were gone. And then I went and looked on Amazon, and yep, all my ebooks and paperbacks were gone. The hardcovers and audiobooks were still there because our hardcovers are printed through Ingram and distributed to Amazon. And our audiobooks are through Audible, which, while it is owned by Amazon, the two hands don't talk to each other all that often. So they had no idea what was going on. So I was like, okay, well, I remember getting this revised contract, and I went through my email and I found the contract. I attached it to my reply to Amazon saying, hi, I do have the rights to this story. Here's the documentation. And I sent that at about 11:30 this morning. Here's the shocker of shockers. This stuff was fixed by 3 p.m. My account was in fact deleted. My bookshelf was gone. All my books were off sale. And then it was fixed within 4 hours. So I got to give a huge shout out to Andrea or Andrea. I don't know this person. I don't know how you pronounce their name. From Amazon, from KDP Customer Support, because she rocked it and she got this fixed really quickly. But that was a terrifying moment for me because 60 to 75% of my monthly income is from Amazon. And it's the biggest ebook distributor in the world. I mean, it's the biggest bookstore in the world too, but self-published and small press authors, we don't really make much money on print. But potentially losing all those ebook sales had me spinning hard, because what the heck am I going to do? Now, that's why we have been pushing our Shopify. There's a link in the show notes, because I've seen this happen to other authors. Not specifically this case, because again, this is a corner case of a corner case. But with republishing and with publishing multiple editions of things, I've seen other people have their account terminated for weeks until they could get this sorted. I was incredibly lucky to have this rectified in half a day. But it's also why we push our Shopify store. It's why we try to sell as much direct as possible. It's not just because Shopify takes a smaller cut than Amazon. It's not just because when you buy from our Shopify, you own the ebook. You don't have a license to read the ebook, which is what you get with your Kindle. You don't own any of the books on your Kindle unless you side-loaded them somehow. You have a license to read ebooks that you purchase on Amazon. They can shut it off at any time. And we, Falstaff Books, we believe that you should own the ebooks that you pay good money for. So when you buy stuff direct from us, you own it. That's why we had pulled a lot of our titles out of Kindle Unlimited, because exclusivity to Amazon makes you even more vulnerable to things like this, to errors like this. And a big chunk of the error was mine. I'm not arguing that. I probably should have, as soon as I got this revised contract, I should have sent it to Amazon and said, hey, here's the proof. But I didn't care enough about a 99-cent short story or a $2 or $3 short story to bother. And that's on me. I should have bothered. But also, nowhere in the emails I had gotten earlier did it say, if you don't fix this, we'll shut down your whole account. I didn't know that was something that they might do, or I would have been a lot more diligent about it. And yeah, that's on me. It may have been in some fine print somewhere. So, what's the takeaway for you as a writer? Diversify your revenue streams as much as possible. We've been working on this, and we're going to be doing more of it. Keep all your paperwork. And if you're a writer that writes short stories for anthologies, when you get a contract that says untitled short story, go back later and get the title added and get another copy of the contract. We just sent out contracts for short stories for an anthology that we just kickstarted called Disruptive Intent. Late pledges are available. There'll be a link in the show notes. But all of those stories, all of those contracts for stories say untitled short story. I will happily go back later and plug in the title at the author's request so that nobody else has to deal with this later. Because a lot of people sell stories to anthologies and then republish them. I mean, I've got stories that I've republished 2 or 3 times, not just as standalones, but also in collections of my work. My book, Have Space Cat Will Travel, is a collection of shorts. Are you trying to eat my reading glasses? Why? She's eating my reading glasses. Why are you doing that, sweetheart? Because I'm talking to y'all instead of petting her, and that's not allowed, is it, Daisy Bell? So that was my experience getting my account canceled by Amazon and reinstated within a few hours. I was incredibly lucky that I had the paperwork and I didn't have to go chasing it. So stop eating my reading glasses. So yeah, she loves to be held. Can't you tell? She's absolutely adoring this. So you can learn from my mistake to get your contracts in order, to keep everything in a place where it's easily accessible. And maybe if you ever find yourself in this situation, you won't freak out quite as much as I did. Because I was worried, wasn't I, pretty girl? That's why Daisy's not leaving my side. She knows how freaked out I was earlier today. Because she's a sweetie. She's about to claw me. Whew, I got lucky. I thought she was going to claw the crap out of me. All right, that's what I've got for today. Thanks for listening to me ramble about my freak out and why it happened. And I hope it doesn't happen to y'all. Oh, and remember, if you want to see your name in one of our videos, you can become a member. That's another way that we're diversifying revenue streams, is through YouTube. So we are monetized now. You can join us. You'll get our videos a little early, and I hope you do. Thanks. Bye.